You are listening to a Trip to India podcast, the podcast where women inspire women to dream big. In this episode, meet comedian Jen Thomas. Jen has been on tour with Cat Williams, has also written for Wild 'N Out, and has been touring all over the nation. If there's anything that I have left out, forgot, or something you want to plug in, let the world know. We
No,
celebrate
you
all
did
milestones.
good. Hey, as long as you gave some credit, you look these days you can't even get nobody to give your credit. You be like, boy, they talking about she been on Comic View. I be like, boy, I'm too young for Comic View. Stop playing with me.
Not Comic View. Oh,
Right,
no,
I be like, not you said Comic View, boy. The audience know you lying, boy.
I saw that you were on. You did BET too.
Oh yeah, I did BET. When I was so new, I was like 2 years in the comedy, Apollo Live with Tony Rock, and I almost got booed, but God was with me. You know what I'm talking about? I was this close for getting booed, but God was like, not today. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
And that's some stuff that I want to get into. But before we do that, I like to break the ice, and I think this would be really cool. It'll get the audience to know a little bit more about you. We want to do a game called Two Truths and One Lie. You do two truths, one lie. I got to figure out which one is the lie.
Two truths
and one lie.
One lie. I'm shy. I know all of my baby daddies. And the last one, I play basketball. Which one is the lie?
I feel like you made this easy.
Did you?
Because you said you shy. I think the lie is that you shy.
Actually, that's the truth.
Okay. Is it one of those things that, like, once you get on stage, it like you become somebody else?
Right. I become somebody else on stage. It's a different thing on stage. And the lie is I don't know all my baby daddies because they told me they were drug dealers and they not.
And they not.
They were. One of them was a drug user. Okay.
Ooh. And I hope you let that one go. He your favorite, ain't you?
Yeah, the one who did a little bit of drugs. I love him so much, man. It's something about cocaine that make you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. It bring you closer. Finding out he stole something from you. It's just a rush. You know? So cute. Oh my God. I just don't know how we made it. It's beautiful.
So you like
trust the process.
Trust the process. I'm gonna tell somebody that. So before we get into it, because you just said a couple things that I want to learn about, I want to reiterate to the new listeners that might be listening why I have this show. I started a Trip to India podcast because I wanted to create a space where women can feel inspired and comfortable with exploring any of the ideas they want to do in life. So I figured, why not bring in women that's out here doing it, that can give testimony, just let them know that you were there where they were at one point.
Right. Yeah, I was. I think whatever you want to do, just go after it. I think we get caught up in looking for approval. I kind of fell into my dream. I was praying like, Lord, you forgot to give my blessing. You not my blessing. You forgot to tell me what my gift is. Like, the words say everybody got a gift. And I thought the Lord forgot me. So I was in prayer for years trying to find out what was my gift. And finally, it was revealed to me. I was at church and the person who was supposed to host didn't host. And one of the members knew I was funny, but I was shy though. And she convinced me to go up. And then from there, it took off. So sometimes it may be the thing that you just enjoy doing. I think we overlook our gifts. And the advice I would give somebody is once you feel it and once you know, don't let nobody stop you, just go for it.
So that was your like epiphany moment when you
that was my moment. Yeah, once I got on stage and I heard the laughter and I just remember being up there like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. It was just like an aha moment.
So after you figure out that that's what you want to do, what was that moment when you're like, all right, let me try this out on somebody, if that makes sense? Like, what was your first set?
Okay. So of course it was in church because I filled in, like I said. But my first
After
time
that, like,
my first time when I got serious is when I went to a comedy club and they had it was like a competition of some sort. And I was just like, let me see if I got what it takes. And I just did it. I just tried it out and I went, with nobody just in case I got booed. Nobody could, you know what I'm talking about? You telling my business. So I just tried it out on my own. Sometimes you gotta go by yourself first just to see how it feels. So that was one of my first moments when I knew then, again.
Did you wing it or was it like planned? Like,
I winged it. I definitely know about writing a set and preparing. I was just off the head, like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and talk some trash, and that's what I did.
Do you think that's necessary for like a woman that wants to start? Do you think it's necessary for her to feel like she has to write out a set first?
If she wants to start comedy? Well, yeah, knowing what I know now, I would definitely say write down something, be prepared. But if you don't, I don't want that to stop you. So I always tell people, like, if you want to try comedy, stand up, because there's so many ways to do comedy now. But if you want to do stand up, right now, about 4 or 5 jokes that are made some people around you laugh and try them on stage. That'll help you because you're going to naturally be nervous. I'm still nervous. I've been doing it 10 years. I'm always nervous before I get on stage, but that'll help you overcome the fear because you know that you're prepared.
So what was your first, like, have you ever, I don't know, I want to say first because every comedian says they've had like a set where people didn't really resonate with them. Have you ever had one of those moments?
Hell yeah, more than one.
What is it like?
I almost got booed on. I just told you I almost got booed on Apollo, and this the funniest thing is that so I went to Apollo. I made the audition, so they flew me to New York to do the show, right? So everybody found out, so they had like a little watch party for me. I didn't know what it was gonna be like on TV. And I was so trash, like, man, and that's one thing. It's one thing to get booed. It's another when somebody had a gathering expecting you to win.
Yeah.
And they were like, all my coworkers, like, I went to work the next day, like, boy, these people don't see me fail so ugly, boy. My mama tried to act like I wasn't her kid. My daddy was like, I ain't gonna go to the family reunion. And to this day, I hate seeing that clip, but that was then. But now I appreciate it because nothing beats a good fail. Like I listened to Leslie Brown, he a motivational speaker. And he says this part, you gotta fail your way to success. And that resonates in me because I think you will find out who you are when you fail. Like, you need to fail. That's what makes you great.
That's true. Let's see if you really with it or not, or how strong
you gonna
you
stick
are.
with it. How they say on TikTok? You gonna stick beside it?
I'm gonna stick beside it. No. So, rest in peace to Paul Mooney, and I'm sure he has impacted you in some way.
Yes, I never got to see him like live and in person. I hate that. But I like raw, honest comedy. So a lot of people, it's a scary thing though, because you saying what people are afraid to say, and some stuff that'll make you lose opportunities. So for me, he was fearless, and I try to be, but that take a lot because you got to be willing to decide what you want,
and take.
But that's the thing, right? That's what I admire about him. So me watching him helped me to push the line a little bit, but I ain't there. I'm not completely there. I ain't gonna lie, but it definitely helps you push yourself.
So speaking of him, who are the other like comedians that have like influenced you growing up or even during your career?
Well, during my starting out, I'm from Jacksonville, so I seen Lil Duval really make it. So he was like the first comedian that I seen out my city that made it. So he definitely impacted my comedy as far as me feeling like I could do it, because sometimes we don't feel like we are good enough. Like, I speak differently. I'm from the South, and when I first started, somebody who I started with told me I wasn't gonna make it, and because I was country, because I was loud, and because of just how I talk, and they just said I wasn't gonna make it. So me seeing little Duval make it from my city with the same kind of accent that I had, I was like, well, you should have let me see that. So little Duval definitely is one. Cat Williams, just because I toured with him, but it ain't because I toured with him, but when I toured with him, I seen how he can go from city to city to city and kill, you know what I'm saying? And have different material every time. One of my females I like is Lunel.
I love her.
Monique, some more. So Wanda Sykes. So it's a whole lot of people that I love.
Do it feel like it's still do you feel like there's a rise of female comics now? Or we still got a way to go?
Well, so it has, I think comedy has shifted as far as it's different lanes now. Like it's stand up and then internet. So we talk about internet, it's been a rise. It's been a rise because they're getting exposure quicker. And so the internet females are really showing up. You know, for me, I feel like we got like Jess Hilarious, and you have your B Simone, and you have I think it's pretty. I like Pretty V, but she do a little bit of stand up, but not a whole lot. So it's been a rise as far as seeing females in the business, but I still think we got a long way to go.
Do you have
stand up wise is where I am, and I feel like we definitely don't have a lot because we just have Tiffany Haddish, and they always try to make it like it's one person at a time, and I want that to change.
I think it can, but it does seem like the comic industry is the one that still is holding true to like the traditions, if that makes sense, when it comes to stand up, not internet.
Yeah.
But just stand up. So if I'm a female that is trying to become a stand-up comedian, what advice would you give to her on trying to like make sure she build the right connections, if that makes sense? And just because I'm sure we're women, so we get preyed on all the time. So there's probably gonna be somebody that said they can do something for them or whatever, blah, blah, blah. How do you help them like decipher how to move in that way? Should I be making connections or should I be making this on my own? Well, move a little bit more covertly.
Well, you should always network. And I just say you better know who you are in this business. And if it don't feel good, like anything, if the vibe is off, then go with that. And listen to this business is very big to everybody else, but it's actually small. So listen to what's being said. Don't take everything, but when you hear like somebody did something bad, take heed to it. Not saying don't work with them, but know how to deal with them. Like, okay, I heard about that, so I'm gonna be a little cautious. But I will say, get to know people for yourself, because sometimes people have their own issues that don't really have nothing. Yeah, so my advice would be go at it, but listen to your gut.
So I know you have to do something a little later, so I'm gonna wrap it up with 2 questions.
Okay.
My first question is, what do you want people to take away from you after leaving one of your shows?
I want you to feel inspired, and I want you to understand that nobody has a perfect life. And the enemy always try to make you feel like you're the only one faced this, you the only one went through that, or you the only one had those thoughts. And I want you to know you're not the only one. And then also, it ain't about where you start. It's just like, even if you had like a hard time at some point, because I started as a single mom and it was tough, you just have to keep going, keep pushing. So I want to motivate somebody to realize that where you at is just temporary. It's not the end. So that's what I want you to walk away feeling like. I don't care if you work at Burger King, be the best Burger King worker you can be, and understand that you're going to keep climbing, and eventually you're going to leave Burger King and go to something better. So don't beat yourself up too much, because even though they fake like they got their life together on social media, everybody has faced challenges.
I think this is the perfect segue to my reflection moment. Is how I end all of them. So think back to Miss Jen at 18 years old, fresh out in the world. What would you tell her, knowing what you know now? And it doesn't have to be related to your career or anything, just a life lesson.
It's all going to work out.
Period.
That's what I would tell myself. I was so scared and lost and confused. I wish somebody would have told me, like, girl, it's all going to work out. So that's what I would tell my younger self.
I needed that one too. It's all
It'll all work out. Some of this stuff you ain't even gonna remember in some years. Relationships, hardships, trials and tribulations, that will be what really makes you into who you are. Like, it's really shaping you for your future. So experience it all, feel your emotions that you gotta feel, but get how Sarah Jake say, girl, get up.
And just don't even, I know I'm in one of those spaces right now where I be feeling like tunnel vision and whatever I got going on. But
when it be like that, they don't talk about that sometimes. So I share a lot on Facebook at my journey. I'm more personal on Facebook. I think that's the important thing. Sometimes we see people at the end or when they are just now getting some of the fruit of their labor, but we don't see the process. We miss the beginning. Like, it's times that I doubted. It's times that I wanted to quit. It's times that I did quit. It's times that, that was really, really hard and dark, and relationships was hard, but money was real tight, but that something in me just kept me going, like, just keep going. You're going to get past this. And that's what you got to say to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to get past this. It may not be the way I want, but eventually I'm going to get to where I want to be, and this going to be a memory. So you have to remember that. It ain't always easy, and it's okay to cry. We like to suppress things, like, nah, go ahead and say, hey, this ain't a good moment for me. Give yourself a moment, and then don't give yourself so long in that moment. And that's what I have to work on. You can't stay there. Like, you can't spend 3 days sad. Like, okay, now we gave you one, and then we're going to keep going down to minutes and all of that stuff. So just keep going and get help if you need it. I mean, I had to get therapy at one point. We don't like to talk about that. We don't talk about it. And that's the one thing I wish that I also could tell to my younger self. We don't teach Black people, and mostly Black women, we talk about be strong, be strong. But baby, therapy was the best thing that I had ever done in my life. It's so freeing. You feel so much better. You feel like you got somebody to support you. When I talk, my therapist is a little older than me. She's not that old. She relates to me, and it feels good when you can talk to somebody about your personal things and don't have to worry about nobody talking behind your back. You can just get it out, and then that person actually giving you ways to cope and get over and checking in with you. I'm telling you, y'all, if you listening to this, I don't care. Get some therapy. And if you got Medicaid, it is absolutely free. They don't tell us that. It's free.
Why I didn't know that.
It's free. Call your Medicaid card and tell them that you're interested in getting therapy. They'll give you a list of people you can go to for free, and you can get therapy absolutely free. So take advantage, baby. I lay on that sofa and enjoy life. You hear me?
No, I agree. I've been thinking about going to therapy, and I tried to suggest it to a family member, and they kind of got offended as if I was trying to say something was wrong with them. But I was just saying, like, I think this would be beneficial for all of us.
But they equate therapy to something is wrong with you. Like, no, that's not what it is. I want to learn different ways to handle things. And when you go to therapy, it'll show you so much about yourself. Like, therapy showed me why I date the men I date, why I deal with situations the way I deal with them. And once I was able to identify that, I was able to make the adjustment to say, you only date like this because of this, and you need to fix this so that you can date differently. And it'll just impact your whole life. Girl, you better tell people no with no, you don't care. You be like, no, and it won't make you, it's just so much, especially Black women. They want us to be literally superheroes. And we're so busy saving everybody else that we are killing ourselves. You need to talk to somebody. This ain't about being crazy. It's about, I need a way to survive this world. So why can't I get somebody to help me?
I know I said I wasn't going to ask another question, but I'm asking.
No, you can go ahead.
Because this made me think of, like, because essentially therapy just makes you take a pause because we've been moving so much. And that made me think of the pandemic. And that was the only time when I thought about like, oh, maybe I should talk to somebody about something. Right. Because everything stood still for a moment. So with you being in the pandemic, did that shift your hustle or was it like a blessing? What was that like for you? Because I know you have stand-up, so you have to be in person with people. So taking that away, did it make you pivot, learn how to like regroup or something?
It definitely made me pivot, and it made me get out of my comfort zone because I was so married to stand-up that I really didn't take the time that I needed to do social media to commit to it. Well, the pandemic put me in a position where you had no choice. If you want to do comedy, you got to do it on social media. So you had to be able to adjust. But the pandemic, I think, was one of those things for everybody where it was so much time to yourself that you had to deal with who you really are and what you were really doing. And even though I was traveling and on the road and felt like I was doing my part in the world, I realized that because I was doing so much that I wasn't making enough time for my family. And that I needed to set aside special moments for my family, my kids. And it allowed me to get to know them on a deeper level. And now that's important to me. Now, sometimes I may turn down a show like, nah, I'm not going to do that because I got this with my kids. And so that's the part. And seeing so many people lose their lives, and me, I didn't have anybody that passed from COVID, but during COVID, it was some people who passed from other things. And once you see that, you realize that at the end of all of this, when that casket closed, you don't get to come back and get a redo. And I think we forget that sometimes because we so busy on the go and want to say we hustling and I'm doing this and I don't sleep. And you miss the most beautiful thing in life is your family, your friends, the people who love you and appreciate you. So that's the thing that I took from the pandemic. And I hope that other people took it. Like, the thing that really matters to you, you need to decide, because when your casket closed, you don't get to come back and be like, oh, hold up, I forgot I want to do this one thing. You don't get no do-over.
I'm sorry, I needed that.
You don't get no do-over. Yeah.
That was way more impactful than I was expecting. But yeah, I can definitely relate. I think a lot of people.
And that's why you gotta go after your dreams. I think they used to say fear is like, it really is a smoke screen. Like, even though like I used to be, I'm not as shy as I once was off stage. I used to be really, really shy. But me getting on that stage still, no matter how I feel, like, you know what, even though I'm kind of shy and scared, you got to bust through that wall. Like, even though I'm scared, I'm going to do it. Because this is what I tell you. The people who talk about you, if somebody talk about me, I can say, what you doing? It's easy to sit home and say what you doing. But see, the difference between me and you is I'm going to be out here trying. And I might win. And you going to lose because you ain't even tried. So I know for sure you're going to lose. So go out here, girl, do whatever you want and dare them to say something. So, because I'm out here trying. And eventually you gonna win. And that's the part. And when I win, I ain't got no $20 for you. Well, I might let you hold fire because I ain't nasty.
Somebody told me that basically when you feel fear, like if it's something that you want to do and you feel fear, then that's kind of like the go ahead that you should do.
Right. That's that push you need. Yeah. And everything I try. Like when I was in high school, so I always been a person but I always been scared. When I want to do something, I just do it. I want to play basketball. I always been a thick girl, big girl. And my friend, they used to be like, girl, you ain't gonna play basketball with your little fat self. Who? Baby, I went to that coach and I went in and guess what? I played basketball because I wanted to. I was in drama because I wanted to. I ran track because I wanted to. You know, I think my mama gave me that. I don't really care. Like, if I want to do it, I want to do it. And ain't nobody gonna stop me. And you have to get that mentality. Like, don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. Because that's their fears. You can't do it. So you trying to project your fear on me. You don't know what I could do. I don't know what I could do. And you don't know what you're going to do. You don't even know how great you're going to be. You don't know what your future look like. And you going to look down the line and be like, oh my, like sometimes I look down the line like somebody couldn't have told me when I was 18 that I would tour, that I would write for Wild 'N Out, that I would be anybody. I never thought I was going to even leave my city because I had my kid, my baby boy early. I just was like, my life is done. So if I had kept that mentality, come on. You don't know what you're going to be in the future. You don't know who you are yet. You're still discovering. God already knew you were going to be great, but you just now discovering who you're going to be. So don't quit, man. Keep going, even though it's rough, because it do get rough for everybody.
Everybody, especially with your job being where you need the approval of people, if that makes sense. You got to make them laugh. They need to laugh. Yeah, they got to feel something. Yeah. You don't necessarily need them for personal approval, but like.
I know what you meant, though. Yeah. You need them to engage with you. You need that to be, for them to like you so you can work. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you reflect on you, like, you know what? You gotta love it. Like, whatever you doing, you should love it. Like, so if they ain't laugh, I felt good because I put it out. And normally when you feel good about something, then it's gonna resonate in other people. So like you doing your podcast and you having fun, then guess what? People pick up that energy. It's some people who like, man, I enjoyed that, man. I was in a bad place, but I go listen to her podcast and they uplift me. You know what I mean? So that's what's important. So that's what the pandemic taught me. We so busy chasing fame and chasing success, we forget what's important. The important thing is when you leave this world, it's gonna be millions of people lined up to say, this person impacted my life. And so you never die.
Exactly. Like Paul Mooney, if we're going to talk about anybody, because he's not going anywhere.
Right. He ain't going nowhere. That edgy. Somebody is going to be a little edgier because of him. And I'm one of them.
Exactly. And it's going to work out. And we're going to have to take it and listen because you ain't giving us the real anyway.
Right. So.
And I did enjoy when I saw you in person, because I did see her in live, y'all. When I saw you in person, you held it down for the women. I could not stop laughing because you said so much relatable stuff. I think you said something about, because I'll never forget anything about tequila. Because I love me some tequila. I'm really trying to get somebody to brand me. I like 1800 Casamigos.
1800. Y'all sponsor me.
Sponsor me. I'll pay for it.
Right. Period. Keep speaking it. Next thing you know, you'll have a bar. I'll be like, oh, that girl done changed. Now that girl getting money
now. Speaking of that, I know you have something coming up. This will be airing later on. Is there anything going on in this summer that you would like anybody to know where we can purchase?
Oh, I ain't gonna pull my dates. I have something coming up this week, but by the time it air, it'll be over. But they can follow me. I'll post all of my events on my page, and it's Gin with a G, like the liquor, Gin Thomas, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So they can find me anywhere, and I always keep them updated on where I'm gonna be. And I appreciate the support. And thank you for having me, girl.
Thank you for accepting. I'll be just so happy because look, I'm little old me right now. I feel like eventually I'll be where people want to just volunteer and come anyway. But I appreciate.
Well, you not little old you, baby. You a star. That's you. Got we be so ready to make ourselves small to make people feel comfortable. No, you supposed to be like, boy, you need to pull up over here, work a big thing popping over here. So, and it's a part of the process of you. Anybody got to ask somebody, and you fearless because you was like, hey. You want to come on my podcast? So keep that same grind, baby. You got to talk. Hey, this big stuff over here. So, girl, you got it. You got the juice.
Thank you. That gin and juice. No, I'm just playing. Hey. Thank you. I want to thank everybody. And I want to thank you for joining me on this podcast. Thank my listeners for listening. If you haven't done so, please follow her on her Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also follow me on Instagram at @2 India podcast. I drop every Wednesday. I try to bring really great people like you on the show. So if you want to know anything specific, please don't be shy. You can also email me at askindy@2 indiapodcast.com. And I'm going to see you next week.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, girl.
Bye.